Before I call this meeting to order, I'd just like to say that we have a special, two special people in the crowd tonight from the Lions Club. And one of them is Frank Browning, and Frank was in the ROTC. He now is a student at Sinclair and active in the Lions. So I've asked him to lead us in the pledge. So if we could all rise, Frank, if you would please lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Browning, and thanks to all the Lions for the work they do in our community. So at this point, I'd like to call the meeting of the Riverside City Council for the business meeting Thursday, November 15th to order. And the first thing on the agenda is the minutes to consider approval of the minutes for November 1st, 2012 council meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved by Deputy Mayor Denny, seconded by Mr. Schott. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Next thing is the acceptance of written citizens petitions. If you want to speak about anything on the agenda or off the agenda, now would be a good time to get a paper from the back and have it come up to the diocese here. We'll get to that part when the agenda calls for it. Next thing is the city manager's report. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You have my report in front of you as well as supplementals. Tonight at the table you also found the Director of Finance's report. He was out of town last week visiting the newest addition to the Garrett family, his grandbaby. So that was the reason for the delay. Not included within your report, but will also be noted tomorrow in my weekly report via email. The OPWC Integrated Committee voted yesterday to fund the Burkhart Road project. We were 8 out of 14. It's a B funded. That will go up to Columbus for final vote by the state OPWC Commission, and the same rules will apply. So anytime after July 1, those funds should be made available for our use next year. I've already been in contact with the engineer, and he will be providing a schedule and scope of services for that project. So hopefully, knock on wood, it'll be a little busy here next year with construction, and hopefully we'll be able to get both Harshman and Burkhart done next year. So
great news.
We'll wait to see on the schedule for Burkhart, but again, hopefully we'll be able to get that done.
Did we get 40%? Is that what we
It was the application that we had assembled. Total funding we requested was 50%. 25% of our request was a grant, 25% was low interest loan. So that was approved. That was approved, yes, sir.
Very good. Congratulations. Congratulations to staff, especially Mr. Miller. We're very pleased. I'm very pleased to hear that. Very pleased to hear that.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I have some questions. For the city manager.
Yes, Mr. Smith.
Okay. You had a meeting yesterday with RIPAD about that sanitary line.
We did.
How did that turn out?
Well, for all intents and purposes, the replacement of the sanitary line, which runs west out of Area B along Springfield and then kind of jig-jags into Floral Park. Preliminary construction will begin on that in a couple of weeks. They'll start at Smithville, which is where they tie into the Dayton system, and they will work east. We expect them to be in Riverside sometime, probably late January, early February is when they'll actually be doing the actual construction work here. We have offered up to assist them some storage facility areas, so they'll be staging pipe at Glendy. They'll also be staging some pipe over at Old Harshman to help them get through this project as quickly as possible.
Okay. Now, the old service station will carry out there.
Correct.
Old Harshman and
Yes.
on Springfield Street. Did they already take care of that sanitation sewer line?
They took care of the break that occurred when they were demolishing. They actually did hit that sanitary line because it's unmarked on the plan. So that's been repaired, but the full system will be replaced through there as well.
Okay. Okay. Let's see here. I see here we got to have Boy Scout Trey Guy do an Eagle Scout badge, some landscaping on Linden Avenue at the city entryway sign.
Yes, sir.
Did the city recognize him for that?
We have not at this point in time. I don't know whether or not Mr. Miller had an opportunity to talk with him about the project or the full status of his Eagle Scout badge award.
Okay.
I signed all the paperwork that he requested for recommendation of his badge. So,
Because one other time we had a gentleman doing his Eagle Scout badge, and he did some landscaping work there at Airway and Woodland along the creek, put up a fence there. And he came in, we recognized him for that. I was just wondering if he's gonna do the same.
Well, we'll be more than happy to put something together, contact him and see if he is available to come before council, and I'm sure the mayor will recognize him appropriately on behalf of council with everyone here.
Okay.
If that's a desire of council, that would be great. Thank you for bringing that up.
I've noticed with our mutual aid on the fire department, we go a lot into Dayton.
Yes, sir.
And we've talked about this before, charging those people in the city of Dayton for our service. How's that working? I mean, are we actually getting compensated for that? What's the percentage?
Yes, actually, I don't have the percentage off the top of my head, but we did run that statistic. And the calls which we run into Dayton, those bills are actually paid more frequently and at a higher percentage than our actual home residents pay for that service. So we are being fully compensated to the extent that we can be by Dayton residents when we run mutual aid.
Okay. All right, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Smith. Anyone else have anything?
Well, yeah, Mr. Mayor. We're short a staff member. Bob Murray.
Yes, sir.
He's out sick or what?
There have been the last few days some medical issues in his family, so he was unable to be here today.
Okay, I hope everything's fine with him.
Anything else, Mr. Schock?
No.
Okay. Mr. Volkamp?
I've noticed a little bit of construction. I know this isn't a city project, but the bike path seems to be making some progress. I mean, under the bridge and almost over to in front of the hotel.
Correct.
Are there gonna be delays going into Greene County because of the construction that's occurring on 444 there, or, I mean, it looks like it's gonna kind of stop there this season, is that kind of the plan, or?
The original intent or the original scope of the project, this was presented to us at the time at the pre-construction meeting, was to actually tie in the path all the way into Greene County by the end of this construction season, so within the next few weeks. They ran into some issues coming under the viaduct. There's some other utilities there that had to be dug up and lowered, and they ran into some issues there. So they've made about as much progress as they're going to make through this year because of that delay. So they'll have to finish that up in the spring when the plants reopen.
It was good to see asphalt. So, all right, that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I just have a couple of things. First of all, the Fair Park Bridge reconstruction. Very pleased to hear that is moving up the,
Yeah, not so much, sir.
there
was an issue between, and I do apologize for that, and that's an item I'll address in my report tomorrow, but unfortunately, the project team for our district was unaware that the state had this scheduled for sale in 2015. They were under the impression that it was for sale in 2013 with construction in 2014. So the original project management team from District 7 had a miscommunication that they forwarded to us. So when we started communicating back and forth, that's when they realized the error. So the actual sale will be talking with our project manager. The actual sale will occur in October 2014. And the project will be scheduled to commence third quarter of 15, so somewhere in July, August, September of 2015.
okay. Thank you, Mr. Manager. And I just want to mention the overtime. I always like to see a little overtime, and all of our folks and our new fire chiefs are doing an excellent job with that. So we congratulate you all for keeping that overtime down, and hopefully Mother Nature will cooperate with us, and we'll end the year and with as little overtime as possible. We do appreciate all your efforts in that regard. Anything else anyone wants to bring up for the city manager? report? Okay, seeing none, we will move on then to unfinished business, since we have no one that wants to comment on agenda items. The first unfinished business is ordinance number 120502. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This ordinance is the second reading to make appropriations for fiscal year 2013.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the second reading by title only and final adoption of the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Schock, second by Deputy Mayor Denning. So Madam Clerk, would you please read the ordinance by title only?
Ordinance number 12-0-502, an ordinance to make permanent appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Riverside, state of Ohio for the period beginning January 1 through December 31st, 2013.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there any discussion on the item? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Next ordinance is ordinance number 120503. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This ordinance is brought forth for the reconsideration of repealing the City of Riverside tax credit from 100% to 50%.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. So this would be the first reading.
Procedural step in between.
Yeah.
Okay.
At this time, I would make a motion that the council bring this issue back for reconsideration.
Okay. All right, it's been moved by Councilmember Kerp, second by Councilmember Fulenkamp. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none now, so, Mr. Manager, what's the proper?
Well, now
So council will vote to reconsider this. Think of it as bringing it off the table, if you will. Assuming that the majority of council votes to reconsider, bring this off the table, then you would need another motion to approve or a motion to reject.
Okay.
So voting for this motion does not vote for the legislation.
So if we vote yes for this, that means we're taking it off the table
Bring it back up for reconsideration.
for reconsideration. Okay. If the vote is no, then we don't have to do anything.
That is correct.
Okay, so if the vote is no, we don't have to do anything. Do we have to have a reading? We don't have to have a reading.
No.
From the clerk.
This is just for reconsideration.
Just
Okay, all right.
roll
Do
call.
we want a roll call vote?
Yes.
Okay. All right, is there any other discussion on the motion? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Kerr?
Yes.
Mr. Fulenkamp?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell? Yes. Mr. Denning?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
No.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Cloudy?
No. Okay, so the yeses have it, so that means
No.
we have to have the normal procedure.
Yes.
All right. So is there a motion to have the ordinance number 120503 brought back? Or,
No, it's already brought back.
so
Now we
So
can
moved.
go for the first reading.
first reading,
So
been
moved.
moved by Deputy Mayor Denning.
Before I second it, I would ask Mr. Denning to consider adjustment in language in section 3 so that it reads, this ordinance shall take effect and be in full force at the earliest date from and after January 1, 2013.
Yes.
And I will second that motion.
All right, it's been moved by Mr. Denning, second by Mr. Kerr. Is there more discussion on the motion?
Just as a point of order for council, the language that was the original Exhibit A was also provided to Rita for clarity, and unfortunately they did not provide comment prior to council's last vote. They did ask that a minor change be considered for the purposes of tax preparation. It does not affect the integrity or the intent of the legislation. The requested change is noted on the first sheet as a strike through, and a clean copy is the second page.
the strike through there is the 50%.
Right. That would make it full credit up to, well, it's full credit of tax paid to another city, but then capping that at 0.75% or half of the current Riverside rate. Previously, we had it at 50% of the tax paid and then a cap. And Rita, just for administrative efficiency, they want to not make the tax form any more complicated than they have.
But it produces the same thing. Oh, okay. So
There's a minor dollar difference, we have to give up a little bit of income tax.
just so we're talking about the same sort of revenue.
Yes, we're effectively talking a change of hundreds of dollars.
Okay.
The only place where it would have any effect is in the residents who are working in a city that has a tax rate of 0.5%. We've only got about a dozen residents in that situation.
Okay. Is there any other discussion?
Yeah, Connor, run that over by me again, I didn't hear
Which part now? We're just to
About the dollar?
make it flow through the tax form better. We would, by dropping those three words, the 50% of tax paid in the other city, we would be providing full credit for anybody who works in another city, but then we're capping that, and the maximum it could be is half of the Riverside tax rate.
Which is 0.75%.
So the only practical place where that makes any difference is if they were working in a city that had a half or 1% tax rate, and you've only got a handful of citizens that fall in that category. So it would cause the tax credit to realize maybe $4,000 less tax.
So a yes vote still means that we're, the same thing it did, that we would do the credit, and so everyone in the city will have to pay 0.75% if they
that.
work. Everyone who works somewhere will have to pay 0.75. So a no vote means we're not giving them, or we're giving them the full credit like it is right now.
But this is for someone that lives in the city, does, and works somewhere else.
That's correct.
Right.
You're talking approximately 100 folks who fit that category. Yes.
Well, a lot of them are in 0% less.
Yeah, that's good.
Really would change anything for that.
Okay. So this is all the stuff that Mr. Fullcamp was talking. Okay? Okay, is there any other discussion? Seeing none, call the roll, please. I need to read the ordinance. Okay, for this time, okay, the city charter requires